Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine. Hello. Welcome to episode 99.
99
of Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Jess.
I'm Brie.
99 is so crazy.
It's wild to me.
We are going after this episode. Not like today after this episode.
Not like
depending
immediately after
when
this episode.
you're listening. Maybe you're gonna, in some weird twist of fate, listen to this exactly before we go live. But our 100th episode is next. And we're gonna be live.
We will be live. I mean,
our 100th episode is next. Duh.
Because this is 99.
Big duh.
So the next one is 100. That's how numbers work.
That's how numbers work. But, fun fact, we're going to go live for it.
We will be live.
And alive.
Hopefully. It'd be really bad if one of us died just before the 100th episode.
Only because it's our 100th episode,
right.
Though.
Any other time would be fine, but not before the 100th.
That would make it really inconvenient.
And very sad.
Brighton would have to step in like...
It's true. You know what? Maybe they should just be ready.
What? Can you imagine if one day I was like, hey, I can't record. You're like on your way here. And I'm like, but I've got a solution. You got here and just Brighton was sitting here. Like,
I hope he has a wig on to look like you.
Yes. Yes, he will. Or I have this picture of him with my cat sitting on his shoulder at D&D. Or maybe he could wear the cat on his head.
Perfect. She loves that. Perfect.
By the end of both sessions, he's just bloodied with scars on his face.
Snotty.
But how awkward would that be too, though? Like, trying to riff with someone. Like, Brighton's
who I've met a few times and hung out with a handful of times, but not like enough to really have charisma going together.
I'll tell you, straight up.
We would just talk shit about you and Ryan the whole time. That's the only way we'd know how to joke with each other. We'd be like, isn't it funny when Ryan does stuff?
There's computers and autistic.
Did you hear how he said I talk funny? Or my lips look funny?
Friend's like, yeah, did you hear that I don't send him TikToks sometimes? Because I know he'll get caught up in them. He won't think it's funny. He'll have to research it. Yeah. But to his credit, Brighton has a great sense of humor.
True.
So he'd be hilarious. Yep. Which is, why he comes up all the time as my replacement or your replacement. But
whoever's struggling that day.
But we have to get a fax machine to hire him. So I don't think it's going to work out.
Darn.
I know.
That's it. There's no other options.
It's just shut it down. Close it down.
99 episodes. This is the end.
We talk about Hank in 99 of our episodes and don't consider him once as a co-host or like a guest star or taking our places.
Nope. He can be on the show. He can be mentioned during the show. He can dress up for the show and get an Employee of the Month pin. But he cannot be a co-host.
He can be our number one employee.
But not a co-host.
Not a co-host.
That's where we draw the line. There's no way he could be a host. Only Brighton.
Oh, Brighton.
Maybe Ryan.
Did I mention the fact that, he gets carried... One night we were talking about Michael Bublé, and I was like, isn't he, British or something? I didn't think he was American, and Ryan was like, oh, I don't know. Literally rolls over, pulls out his phone, Googles Michael Bublé, tells me everything everyone on the internet has ever known about Michael Bublé, which, by the way, he's Canadian.
I knew that.
Because you, too, have the touch of the tism and did the same thing once.
Maybe. No, it's actually because I lived with Katie.
Gotcha.
Katie loves Michael Bublé.
Gotcha.
But I do that to Zach.
Right.
Except it's usually on car rides. I'm really good at it on car rides.
Well, you can't go get distracted in a car. You're stuck.
And that's how we learned the history of the Dollar General on the way home from Christina's house last summer.
I feel like you shared that with me.
I probably did. I bring it up as a fun fact sometimes.
That'll be your fun fact when you run into people who recognize you for the show.
Except they'll be like, then they'll go listen to the episodes and be like, she doesn't talk about Dollar General at all in any of these.
What a liar. When Ryan starts doing that kind of thing now, I'll just look at him and be like, he's Canadian. Because it happened with Michael Bublé, and I pointed it out, and he was like, wow, yeah. I mean, that hasn't stopped him.
It's like a part in my brain that has to know. I don't know what I did before the internet.
Went to the library.
I must have.
Or we just avoided
is that what
topics
started
that might
me?
do that.
Is that what started my love of the library?
What
Every
did-
time I was like, I don't know this thing. I must
have to
go
go
to the
learn.
library.
Mrs. Emelander, please tell
Please
me.
tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder that almost on a daily basis. Like, what did I do without the internet? Which is kind of sad.
I just didn't know things. That sounds painful.
I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, let's talk about Egypt.
You are typically weird.
It's true. Did you know we have a friend from Ohio? A friend? Sure, we have a friend from Ohio. I meant to
love
say
Ohio
fan,
friends.
but
Yeah, I did.
Both.
He commented. He commented.
he's a raptor.
No, that's like this.
Oh, sorry. I told them to read the I told them to listen to the Circleville Letters episode.
Oh yeah.
I think it's called Better Than Ohio. I'm sorry. We don't actually think we're better than. We don't think we're better than anything, except assuredly we are better than meth.
True.
And methane.
Mm-hmm.
As useful as it might be.
At least our first two episodes are right.
They're honest.
There might be a couple more.
We might not be great at podcasting that point, but we're honest.
We're better than math.
For sure. And veiny horses.
I don't know.
That is a good episode.
Did you see their April Fool's joke?
No!
Oh my goodness.
I squealed into the microphone.
It was Blucifer.
Of course
And
it
it
was.
said they were looking for a horse handler. It's like a job posting. You can talk about Egypt.
I'll talk about Egypt.
I'll look for Blucifer.
Perfect. That sounds like the best day. So I'm going to talk about Egypt. Ancient Egypt, as it is. Ancient Egypt gods. Woo! Anyway, just a little disclaimer.
Sorry, I was distracted by Blucifer.
It's fair enough. He's got a very big schlong.
Says, howdy, we're hiring for a brand new role, Mustang handler. If keeping Mustang's red eyes glowing, maintaining his blue shine, and coordinating his photography schedule sounds trottily exciting, this might be the job for you. Think you can wrangle this gig? Head to this website to apply.
I love the Denver airport as much as I hate the Denver airport. Hate them only because I didn't get to spend any time there when I meant to. So anyway, tiny disclaimer about my ancient Egyptian subject today, which is a very, very broad overview of the Egyptian gods.
I'm super excited about this.
I adore this. There will probably be more in-depth information about this because there's a ton of stories and lore based on these gods, but it was a lot. So, disclaimer, let's get to it. I guess there's some interpretation you can take with the history of the gods of Egypt. Some people would say what I have here is inaccurate because you can interpret it so much.
Okay.
I mean, 5,000 years of... Well, I guess it was 2,000 years after Egypt was kind of done. Ancient Egypt was kind of done. Sorry, Egypt. You have these 2,000 years of us, like, interpreting and trying to figure it out from hieroglyphics and people's word of mouth. And you've played telephone before. You know that it doesn't end up the same story from beginning to end. So while I've tried to get the most accurate information I can, note that sometimes in different websites or different books, they might be a little different.
Especially when it's so old and there's so much.
Yes, exactly.
I ran into that with
You'll think of it in the middle of when I'm talking and you'll be like, the Greek mythology.
it was something similar to that. Like there was just so much history to it that every time you went to a different website, it had a slightly different story.
Right. Yeah. So I did have this fact checked by AI. So, take that with a grain of salt. But just be aware of that. So if you are hearing me say something that you've heard the opposite of or something a little different, You might have, and it might have been more correct than what I'm saying. It's just people will argue about it. Scholars go back and forth about it. So, but I would really love to hear the argument side of it. If you have something different about it, let me know. That's cool. I'd love to hear that.
We would love it.
So, to get started, there were over 1,500 deities that ancient Egyptians worshipped throughout different periods of time.
Okay. Because 3,000 years, right? So
yeah. And
lots of time.
when I was reading about some of the different pharaohs that came in and out, they brought different deities with them. Either ones that people had forgotten about, but that particular family or pharaoh still worshipped, or new ones that they worshipped and were bringing to light to, make more prosperous kingdom, or, those kinds of things. The other interesting thing is that a lot of their deities would merge eventually.
Oh,
which was kind of strange, but interesting. It does happen in D&D mythology as well, which obviously isn't something that hopefully it's not something that people actually believe in, but
speak for yourself.
Anyways, knew you were a wolf worshiper. She's the spider goddess. She's the worst.
That would
Hate
be
her.
me. Yep.
She's awful. She does have a matriarchal
All those things.
female-based society,
Well,
which is kind of cool.
that is awesome.
But they're
But spiders.
she fights with Drist, okay? He's my favorite ever. Anyways, I want to highlight basically the major deities. These are the ones that you're going to hear about pretty much always. So you have Ra. He is the sun god. He is the creator, the supreme major deity. I think everyone knows Ra. Osiris. He is the god of the afterlife. He's associated with resurrection and judgment. Isis, the goddess of magic, motherhood, and protection. Which I've also heard Isis, and this might be more of like obviously ISIS is the underground network of terrorists.
Yeah, I think it's a terrorist
If I'm misspeaking,
organization.
please correct me. So I've also kind of heard her associated with war, but protection would kind of merge into that to me. So Horus, who is the falcon-headed god, he's kingship and a protector of pharaohs. Anubis, which is potentially my favorite, and I literally think it's because he's a jackal. And that
would make sense.
the only thing that I have to base that on. And then like in a
It
couple
looks
of
like a puppy.
exactly. And in a few books, I think he becomes like a love interest, which is probably another reason why he's somehow burned into my brain as cool.
You're right. When did that happen?
I don't remember. I think it might have been the not Percy Jackson series.
Oh, I think you're right.
And I think there's other like stories that I've read. But anyway. He's the jackal-headed god of mummification, and he's the guardian of the dead. Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and potentially destruction.
Ooh.
That one wasn't as common to me, but I thought a love goddess would probably be a big one.
Yeah.
And then Thoth, I think it is the god of wisdom, writing, and knowledge.
Oh, I like that one.
Which also makes sense because it's hard to say, and you'd have to have knowledge to know how to say it, which I don't.
Totally. That's why they did it.
So, and then I want to tell you a little bit about each of the big gods. Ra, as I said, the sun god. Apparently, he looks like a man with the head of a falcon, crowned with a solar disc that is encircled by a cobra. And his role is the creator of the world, controller of the sun, and the ruler of the heavens. Some lore about him is that he travels across the sky in his solar boat, and essentially him doing that is like dragging along, or he in himself is the sun.
Okay.
So
yeah.
as the sun travels across the sky, that's him. At night, his journey is really perilous because he goes into the underworld, which is also called the Duat, and he has to battle Apophis or Apep, which is a serpent who is trying to devour him. There are some Ragnarok type stories where protagonists have to save him, depending on the version that you're reading of the story. One weird detail about Ra is that his sweat and tears are believed to have created humanity.
Okay.
Something I thought
Sure.
was really funny is divine perspiration. Okay. So Osiris is the dead king turned god of the underworld. He is mummified usually. He has green skin. It makes me think of like a clip art picture. He is the god of death, resurrection, and fertility, which is
That was kind of the same
Yeah.
for Hades.
Yeah,
remember?
okay, sure, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. There's so many.
And there are a lot of similarities
Yeah.
between the Greek gods, the Roman gods, and the Egyptian gods.
That would be an interesting topic.
Mm-hmm. Wink,
Get
wink.
to it.
Let me get to that. I'll just get it done while you finish up and just add it on for the next one.
Exactly, perfect. So Osiris was a really just king, but his brother Set, who I will talk about later, who's probably should have been included in the big list of the big ones, but wasn't, so get over it. He murdered him by tricking him into a coffin that he then sent down the Nile. Like, how did you get tricked into a coffin?
Just climb into this box. It's
Right.
not a coffin, I swear. Just looks like one.
Exactly. It's just a pretty box. I put a pillow. There's cookies. So after he was killed doing this, then Set chopped him up into 14 different pieces, which Isis later put together, which is why he's kind of mummy-ish and
Okay.
green.
Because he's a zombie.
But there was one piece that she couldn't put back because it was eaten by a fish,
That darn
which I
fish.
hope was turned into a god after that, because if you're going to do that, you may as well be.
Right?
Since he
Gotta be benefits.
Right, exactly. Since he couldn't be put back together, he couldn't come back to the world of the living, and that's why he was given the title as the god of the dead.
Oh. One little piece and you can't come back.
Right, so be careful. You better hope the people who are mummifying you are doing it right.
Right?
I don't know if this is an interesting fact for anyone but me, but there is a character in the game Destiny 2, and I think he's in Destiny 1, named Osiris. He's awesome. He was a guardian, and then this will not make sense to you at all, his ghost was killed, and he is now just a regular person. He is played by Oded Fair, who plays Ardette Bay in The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. I like him. Isis, the queen of magic and motherhood and protection, maybe war.
Maybe more.
She's a woman with a throne-shaped headdress or with wings that are outstretched. She was very talented in magic. Some would even say the master of magic. She was really good at it. When Ra grew... Leave me alone, words are hard. When Ra grew old and weak, Isis tricked him into revealing his true secret name, which we know from reading a lot of Fae books. If someone knows your true secret name, they can control you.
They have power over you.
Yep.
Never tell the Fae your real name.
Yep. And once she knew this name, she gained immense magical power. When she resurrected Osiris, she had a baby with him, and that was Horus.
Okay.
And I think that's gross.
Fair.
Because Osiris was pretty dead and gross.
Zombied.
And had been floating in water. But I just can't imagine it was a... Anyway. Whatever.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
Exactly. Horus was a falcon-headed god. He was the god of kingship, protection, and vengeance. He is often seen wearing a gold crown. It's called the Crown of Egypt.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Horus was the son of Isis and Osiris. Gross. He was born specifically to avenge his father's death, and his life was spent battling his uncle Set, and could potentially be something we talk about later because it's like a really good movie.
All right.
One bizarre myth talks about Horus and Set engaged in a magical semen contest.
Oh. Is this meant to be for Dungeons and Dopamine After Dark?
It was a contest to see who was more dominant, and Isis had to intervene and Make it so Horus would win. I don't know how she did it. I don't want to know.
The old gods, the Egyptian gods, the Roman gods, the Greek gods are all horrifically disgusting.
Yes.
And we talked about it when I did the Hades and Persephone's
Yes.
episode. Like, so much incest and strange sexual things. It's just
so
wild.
Weird. Awful. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, one cool fact about Horus, after I ruined him for you, is that the Eye of Horus became a protection symbol. Like,
much better than what it could have been.
magical semen.
Sorry.
I hate everything.
I'm no longer doing ancient Egypt.
I wrote it, and I still hate it.
You're still uncomfortable.
Exactly. Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and destruction. Sorry, I put a question mark after it.
Because...
Weird?
Yeah.
Why is that included?
Sometimes love makes me want to destroy things. It's fine.
The funny thing about her is that she had a cow head, which I don't really associate. I mean, I love beef.
But yeah, I don't associate.
I made
love.
besties with a cow when we were at the zoo once. Remember, it like yelled at me for leaving. I could have stayed there all day. It's my favorite moment ever. Yeah, she had horns, and they were cradling a sun disk, sort of like what Ra wore. Which actually sound like that kind of crown would be super cool. I would love to have one to wear to like Renfest or whatever. Anyway, she was the goddess of love, beauty, fertility, music, and had like a dark side. She had a second personality.
Ooh.
Basically, she had an alter ego, which you might know, Sekhmet, who is lion-headed and the goddess of war and plague. When Ra sent Sekhmet to punish humanity for their disobedience, she went on a killing spree, and Ra had to get her drunk to make her stop. He got her drunk on red beer. She drank it because it looked like blood, which is gross. So after she was like satisfied with her rampage, she turned back into Hathor.
Oh, just like
super weird.
I'm good now. Thanks for the beer.
Yeah. Huh. Now we've made it to Anubis.
Yay, Anubis.
He's a jackal-headed guardian of the dead. He's a man with the head of a jackal, a black jackal. Think the Scorpion King. He's the god of mummification. He protects tombs. He will guide you to the afterlife. Although I think he has someone like who uses the boat that goes down the river Styx to actually guide people. But I might be combining Greek and
I think so.
Egyptian. But there's something very similar.
Yeah.
So he's the one that would preside over the weighing of the heart. You would put your heart on one side of the scale. The feather of truth would be on the other side of the scale. And if you were deemed, if your heart was lighter than the feather, then your soul could proceed into the afterlife. If not, it was devoured by Amit, who is a lion, hippo, crocodile beast.
I want one.
It's in one of the stories I've read. It's adorable. It's like a little puppy. It's really dumb, but I like it.
I love it.
He was originally seen as the king of the underworld, but then Osiris took over, and Anubis almost became like his assistant, which is sort of gave him, like, knocked him down a peg. Thoth is the divine scribe and the master of time. He's the, like, writing knowledge god. And the moon.
Aw.
Which is kind of a weird thing to throw together.
That is a
but
weird
like,
thing to throw in there, but it
you're
makes
gonna
me like him even more.
make a cow lion lady love and destruction. Why not?
Why not throw the moon at the...
I do think there's something kind of poetic about her being both, in that, like, that warning of, like, how love can become obsessive and dangerous.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do think it's kind of a cool, I don't know. Anyway, that's just a randomness thought. Thoth is an ibis-headed god.
Which is a bird, right?
Yeah. Or baboon. Which I hate monkeys. There are very few kinds of monkeys that I actually like. I hate them.
What?
I don't know.
We've never covered this in our lifetime together.
I hate them. They're so freaky. Maybe it's like an uncanny valley thing, like they're too human. I like the little tiny ones, the tamarins. And then there's this really cool one that's like reddish and it stands like this tall and it walks on its 2 feet and it's super cute and fluffy. No, every other monkey.
I love this so much. I'm gonna do next
making a
week's
note in
episode
your-
about monkeys.
And one about Ryan Reynolds. And then Applebee's.
They're all of Jessica's favorite things.
The word moist. You have to add that in as much as you can. Moist monkeys.
Oh, gross.
That's going to be a great clip.
Yep. Moist monkeys. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Can't wait.
Anything I can do for you.
God.
Thoth was the design scribe. Divine scribe who recorded the outcomes of the weighing of the heart feather ceremony.
Okay.
And he was pretty important. He kept cosmic balance by maintaining time and order.
That is important.
He was known as a mediator among the gods, as I feel like a lot of the wise and knowledgeable are often. And he acted a lot as a peacemaker during squabbles between Set and Horus. I notice he's not mentioned during the semen contest.
He did not want any part of that.
Not.
He was
at
like,
all.
if that's what you guys are doing today, I'm out.
I'm done. I'm stepping
Taking
back.
the day off.
So I'm gonna stop here. I have some of the like controversial or scarier or unique gods, and then I have some of the like really.
They made a god for that?
But I don't want to get too carried away.
I mean, my topic's not great this week, so,
So
you
go
can
ahead.
Just keep going.
Let's talk gods. I find it very interesting. I find it like, how did they come up with that? And I would love to sort of research that. And I'd actually like to know if anybody still worships the old gods of Egypt. Like, it's just
That's a great
something to know. Probably not a whole topic, but a fun thing to be able to mention.
Just like a side, yeah.
Yeah. I almost feel like nowadays you feel silly for doing that, but then who knows?
Right.
I
I like it. I like that you're going to have at least 2 episodes just on
The gods.
The gods.
1,500. I didn't even touch the surface.
Well, and I like, as I already mentioned, like the parallels between the
Yes.
Greek gods, the Roman gods, and the Egyptian gods. Like, even talking about Anubis reminds me of Cerberus.
Yeah.
Because he's a dog,
Yep.
and he helps Hades with the traveling of the dead and bringing them to the underworld. And
There's a video game about Hades, and you play. I hope I'm not going to misspeak this. You play his son, and Cerberus is your dog.
Aww.
And when you go back to hell, because you're trying to kind of beat your dad, when you go back to hell, you can like throw his ball and give him treats and stuff like that. It's really, really cute.
That is super cute.
There's a second version of the game where you're his daughter and sister of the character of the main game. So anyway, speaking of, I guess, games, I am actually going to start playing the game Assassin's Creed Origins, which is an ancient Egyptian setting.
That's right. That's how
Assassin's
you got
Creed
on
game.
this
Yeah.
on this line.
And so I'm going to stream that, or I'm going to record and put it out there. Sometimes I don't feel like being live, but I don't feel like being alive.
But I'll record it for later.
But I'll record it for later.
Perfect.
Please call my doctor.
Help. Help.
Sorry.
So, again, my
what's your,
topic this
what's
week
your
is...
crappy topic this week?
Well, let me tell you. I had horrible writer's block this week. Actually, I've had horrible writer's block for weeks. My brain essentially has spring fever. I can't focus on anything. Real estate got busy all of a sudden. It's election time again, of course. So this week has an intro story. So I tried to cheat, basically.
Okay.
I tried to use AI to write this episode. I've been using Google Gemini AI, and I asked it to write me a 20-minute podcast segment about something whimsical, because I felt like I needed some whimsy today. The first thing it spit out was a story about a girl who collected clouds. It's actually, I didn't even read it all. It's not a bad story.
Sure,
but
sure.
it kind of missed the point. Maybe I can read it as bonus content someday.
There you go. Or we can put it up on Facebook or something.
Right. So that's not what we do here.
Sure.
So I had to then re-ask it to write me a 20-minute informational podcast segment about something whimsical. And do you know what it came up with?
Clouds?
Fireflies.
What?
It picked fireflies. And it was actually pretty good. It had a lot of the stuff I had already that I actually talked about. It did not talk about the fireflies that blink in sync, so mine was still better. But what are the chances?
Right?
So then I asked it again.
You're
because I've already done fireflies. So I was
Right.
you're going to have to pick a new topic. So guess what it picked the second time?
Coyotes?
A library. Except it was a totally made-up library that doesn't exist. It sounded really cool, very magical and whimsical. It probably would exist in the land of Doctor Who. It was called the Library of Lost Time. And just one section of this this podcast that it wrote for me says each section of the library holds a different kind of story. There's the Hall of Forgotten Adventures, where the walls shimmer with tales of brave knights and daring explorers, their voices echoing with the thrill of discovery. There's the Garden of Whispered Secrets, where the air is thick with romantic tales and hidden truths, the rustling leaves whispering confessions and promises. And then, after the sound of a faint melodic hum, and then there's the Chamber of Unwritten Dreams, a place where the walls are blank canvases waiting for visitors to project their own hopes and aspirations, their dreams of becoming living stories within the library's embrace. The walls there respond to your emotional state and help you to imagine your own stories.
Interesting.
It sounds kind of awesome.
All I can think, and I'm so sorry, all I can think about, because you said it would be in Doctor Who, is there is actually a library episode of Doctor Who, except it's terrifying. There are these little...
Are there mannequins?
No. There's these people in spacesuits, and there's these little, microscopic organisms that eat flesh.
Oh.
And they normally live in forests, and people just know not to go into those forests. And you did, screw you, sucks to be you.
This is your fault.
But the forest is what makes paper, which is what makes books. So in this library, they were in the books, and they were eating and killing people, and it's terrifying because the people in the spacesuits, it would record their last sentence, and then it would show that it was just a skeleton inside of the spacesuit. And then one of the most memorable ones is, hey, who turned out the lights? Because he was being eaten. It's really
I'm never
scary.
gonna watch that show.
Hank watches Doctor Who. And now it's time for Hank Hour. Hank Hour.
Hank Hour. Hank's giving Hank Hour.
Hankful for Hank.
That might be
No,
it.
maybe
this is
sticking
our
point,
Hankful for
Hank.
Hank moment of the episode.
We just said that in unison. We can't say anything in unison if we try, and yet
It works out when it's supposed to.
Anyway, my apologies.
So then I gave the AI another try before I decided to just write an episode about AI, which is where this is going. It tried to give me the Fireflies episode again, and when I said you already did that, it said, oh, you're right, I'm so sorry, which is wild to me. And then talked about singing sand dunes, which totally exist.
I talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about the singing sand.
Yes. And so it was a legit article or legit topic that talks about how some sand dunes sound like they're singing because of the way the wind hits the sand. So anyway, this is an episode about AI.
Can I tell you, today I talked to AI because I come up with these contest ideas. I need at least one every single week. And they're hard to come up with, but I also need to use alliteration because my brain cannot not.
As we discussed,
as we know.
This is important.
And so I'll go with my idea and tell AI what I want. And then I go and ask it to expand on it and write like a prompt for it. And it does. And today I asked it, could you flesh this idea out a little bit more for me? And then I was like, oh, is it offensive that I asked you to flesh something out? And it was like, no, it's totally cool. It actually said, haha, no, it's totally fine. You can say that, or what does your gut say, or blah, 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 blah. And no synthetic feelings will be harmed. And I was like, dang.
This is bringing me to my next point.
Excellent.
So I am terrified of AI. I think this has been mentioned before.
I think so.
But I'm going to dive into it a little bit more. But I do realize that there are a lot of things I could and should be using it for. So this particular topic, I focused on the boring things that AI can do for you. Because what I wanted to start with is the idea that AI is starting to do all of these creative tasks for us, when in reality, don't we want the AI to be doing the boring tasks so that we can focus on the creative tasks?
I like doing art and or writing music or whatever. I don't want the AI to do that. I want the AI to do my job while I still get paid for it.
Right. I want the AI to be doing my dishes and my chores and my things that take up the time that I want to be spending on creative tasks. However, I am terrified of AI, but I am terrified of the type of AI from the movies like the Terminator or Meet the Mitchells, or not
Wall-E?
Meet the Mitchells. Wall-E, Mitchells versus the Machines, or all of these movies from our generation that basically taught us that eventually the AI will discover that we are idiots and it knows better than we do.
Right.
And it's going to take over the world because we can't be trusted to take care of ourselves.
This is why I converse with AI.
It's true, you guys. we are way too dumb. Like, this world is falling apart, and the computers that we're training are eventually going to take over and become our overlords because we can't be trusted to take care of ourselves.
Dungeons&Dopamine does not believe this line of thinking. This is not speaking for the brand or the company.
This is Brienne's crazy little theory all on her own. Which brings me to my next problem. If I want the AI to be doing my boring tasks like my chores and my laundry, it's going to have to be the full robot AIs that are going to be the ones that have the power to take over.
It's true.
So I'm having some struggles here.
Judy was amazing. Wait, was it Judy? The robot?
No, Judy was the wife. Rosie was
the
yes. robot.
She was great. I think she only was evil once.
But they all have the capability to become evil. Anyway, I asked AI to do this job too, specifically an informational podcast about boring tasks that AI can do. And here's what it came up with. I'm going to read this word for word, except I did already time it, and it takes me less than 7 minutes. So Google AI fail. My 20-minute segment was only going to be 7 minutes anyway.
It knew we talked too much for it to be that long
Right.
anyway.
So number one, it titled it AI, Your Digital Drudge Buster. It should start with upbeat electronic melody with slightly futuristic yet approachable feel. Welcome everyone to Future Forward, where we explore the technology shaping our world. Today we're tackling a topic that resonates with just about everyone, the endless parade of boring tasks and how AI is stepping in to save us from them. A keyboard sound, rapidly typing, and then a frustrated sigh. Let's face it, we all have those tasks that drain our energy and steal our precious time. Whether it's sorting emails, transcribing meetings, or meticulously organizing spreadsheets, these repetitive chores can feel like an endless slog. But what if there was a way to reclaim those lost hours? Enter AI, your digital drudge buster. I don't know why AI wants this to be an infomercial podcast, but it does.
It also makes me think of Drudge Buster.
See, we already have a theme song. But there should actually be the sound of a gentle robotic processing sound effect. I don't know what that means.
I think I can make that.
AI, or artificial intelligence, is rapidly evolving, and one of its most practical applications is automating those tedious, time-consuming tasks. Think of it as having a tireless, efficient assistant that can handle the grunt work, freeing you up to focus on more creative and strategic endeavors. Then there should be a sound of a clear, synthesized voice reading a brief email summary.
I can't think of if I could think of a summary, I would do my best attempt at this, but dear Bree, I would like to buy a house. Thank you.
Good job. Let's start with email. AI-powered email filters can automatically sort and prioritize your inbox, flagging important messages and filtering out spam. AI can even summarize lengthy emails, giving you a quick overview of the key points. This means less time spent wading through a sea of messages and more time focused on what matters.
Can I give you a personal anecdote?
Yes.
So I put an away message in my email, and I told Ryan for work. I told Ryan to email me so that I could see it on his phone. Mm-hmm. And he got it, and AI also gave him a summary of the email, and it was wrong.
That's...
Like, it told people, I mean, it was his AI, so it wasn't like it was my email AI or anything like that, but it told people to go get information from an area they couldn't get that information from. So if anybody, which I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people who do not understand technology, and those are the people who are going to call me and be ticked because my email said to go here.
Yes.
In reality, like, Ryan wrote them like a scathing 4-paragraph about how dangerous this is and how we can get people into a lot of trouble.
This terrified, like, starting here, especially because one of my problems as the clerk was I would get a ton of emails every day. And a lot of them were very lengthy, but they were about, like, how the laws changed and how it would affect my elections and how things would have to be done differently. And all I could think when I read this was, what if I had been like, oh, that's really long, I'm just going to plug this into AI and have it summarize it for me. And it summarized it wrong, like changed the election laws, and suddenly I got dates or like timelines wrong because I trusted AI to summarize my email. Or so thank you for that story.
You're like, hey, I'm going to have AI respond to this person, and it vastly misunderstands. People don't always write the correct terminology or understand what... I have a hard time saying what I want to say in an email because my brain is working faster than I can get it out. And there are times where I miss important chunks of information because I know it. Why don't you know it?
Or one little typo
yes,
that could be figured out if you were reading it because you know enough to use the context clues, and you'd be like, well, they obviously mean can't instead of can.
Put a G in, or when you're meant to put a G and you put a T in regards.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's not
and suddenly it's summarizing a whole different email.
Exactly. I've seen a lot of, oh my gosh, I didn't catch this until I sent it kind of stuff. Or I read a story about a lady who was writing to, I don't know if it was her professor or her boss, and she just wrote like, Dear Greg, I'm afraid. And it sent, she was trying to be like, I'm afraid we won't be able to meet up on Friday, blah, blah, blah. But she just sent them, I'm afraid, which is so beautiful to share with the world after it happened.
Dear Greg,
I'm afraid. But there's just so much that can go wrong with it. Anyway, my apologies.
Right. Back to the AI podcast. Transcribing audio or video recordings is another classic example of a boring task that AI excels at. We have classic examples already for AI. AI-powered transcription tools can accurately convert spoken words into text in a fraction of the time it would take a human. This is a game changer for anyone who needs to create transcripts of meetings, interviews, or lectures. Zoom has this function already, and it tried when we were recording messages for the township. It was never accurate, and it made the best mistakes.
Yes. The Viva Plus guys have the Viva guys have a Viva Plus subscription. Like, it's like Float Plane. It's its own thing where you can go and you get early access and you get access to some content that's just for Viva Plus members. But anytime it auto does the subtitles, it calls it Beaver Plus. It's because the guys are New Zealanders, whatever, Kiwis. I don't know if that's a nice way to say it or not, but
Sure.
because they're from New Zealand, it kind of sounds like that. It's like Beaver Plus, so it changes it to Beaver. They've started embracing it, and they
Right.
call their members Beaver Plus members, but it could be so bad.
That was the Zoom or it would like try to it would try to know like what the important things were, so it'd like highlight, it'd be like, right here Mr. blah 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 said this. I'd be like, that's not what he said at all. You're picking up the wrong things here.
I wrote something, I was like speak to texting it for you when I was helping with your social media, and it was like, hi, I'm Bree, blah, 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 blah. But it heard me say, hi, I'm breathing.
Ta-da!
That's all I can handle today.
The end. Next, there should be the sound of data being organized into a spreadsheet, because that's a sound that you can put on the internet, and end with a satisfying click sound. Data entry and organization are also prime candidates for AI automation. AI can automatically extract data from various sources, clean it up, and organize it into spreadsheets or databases. This eliminates the need for manual data entry, reducing errors and saving countless hours. And all I could think was the only data I put into spreadsheets typically involves names, addresses, and phone numbers.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody is using AI to organize their spreadsheets with all of my personal information.
The group of people I work with are helping professionals and oftentimes have HIPAA laws in the way. I don't know that there is a HIPAA compliant AI out there.
I don't. From what I read today, I don't think there is. Especially because, well, nobody reads the terms and conditions for any of these things.
No.
But all AI at this point is collecting data to learn from to become
Right.
better AI. So anything you're putting into these prompts or things is data they are keeping. So please don't put your client information into AI to make spreadsheets.
Unless you hate them. And even then, you should probably just sign them up for a magazine subscription or something.
Right. Then there should be the sound of a calendar notification.
Oh, I thought like calendar flipping pages, and I was gonna be like,
That would be better. Scheduling and calendar management can also be streamlined with AI. AI-powered calendar apps can automatically schedule appointments, send reminders, and even find the best time for group meetings. This takes the hassle out of coordinating schedules and ensures that everyone stays on track. I will agree with this one. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I know our Skylight calendar, if you sign up for the subscription, you can like email a note from your teacher, your kid's teacher, with dates on it, and it'll automatically put it in your calendar for you. Or like the new calendar or Calendy or whatever that people can use, where it'll just send you an email, and if the email says like, oh, we should schedule a time, it'll be like, here's my calendar, these are my free times, and you can like set everything up.
sorry, I can hear your chair thumping, and it might go through the mic, so I'm not sure. It was like, suddenly I was hearing a drum. It was like,
That's the AI.
as you were talking, and I'm like,
That's the Jumanji AI.
Robin Williams?
It's coming to get us.
Or The Rock?
Right. Either way, I can accept either.
Sorry, I interrupted in the middle of your sentence, but it really confused me.
That's fair.
And I tried to pull the table away from you,
You're like-
but it was stuck. And so I was trying to be subtle, and it didn't work at all.
So calendar apps and scheduling, that all sounds amazing to me. I have nothing to say about that, except for, putting your personal information into
Right.
the AI.
I will say there is a good chance that it has your information already.
Oh, and I mean, the stuff I learned from Google, how else did it know that fireflies would be a whimsical topic? I'm
Right?
sure it must be picking up on something I wrote before. AI's ability to tackle boring tasks extends beyond the digital realm. Consider the use of AI in manufacturing and logistics. Robots powered by AI are automating repetitive tasks on assembly lines, increasing efficiency and reducing errors. AI-powered logistics systems are optimizing delivery routes and managing inventory, ensuring that products reach their destinations on time. So now we're already done talking about like how AI can help me. We're way on to like corporate factories
I'm
now.
also gonna say that like I got my Christmas present got lost in the mail this year and it got sent back and I never got it.
Right. And these aren't the AI systems that I'm necessarily talking about. Like, cool.
Great for
that
them.
the
but
big companies have logistics to help them figure out routes, but that doesn't help me.
it doesn't get me to my clients faster or let me do my dishes.
Right. And then the sound of a gentle, whirring robotic arm. Now, it's important to acknowledge that AI isn't perfect. There are still limitations to its capabilities. It's crucial to use AI tools responsibly and ethically, ensuring that they're used to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely. So AI is definitely picking up on my fear at this point. Sound of a thoughtful, reflective tone in the host's
It's
voice.
like, calm down, little flesh puppet. It'll be fine.
The goal isn't to eliminate all boring tasks, but to free up our time and energy for more meaningful and fulfilling work. By leveraging AI to automate the mundane, we can focus on what truly matters: creativity, innovation, and human connection. Sound of the upbeat melody returning, slightly softer. In essence, AI is becoming our digital partner in the fight against tedium. It's a tool that empowers us to reclaim our time and focus on what makes us uniquely human. And as AI continues to evolve, its potential to liberate us from boring tasks will only grow. Thank you for joining us on Future Forward. Remember, AI isn't just about robots and science fiction, it's about making our lives easier and more productive.
Future forward fish and physics.
It all fits. So that was AI's 7-minute podcast about how it can help you do boring tasks, except it failed.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all very businessy. Like, there's, I use AI at work, but I have to lead it to where I need it to go, and it's really just being more creative when I can't. And I don't feel like AI can really do my job.
Right. I will say I think AI is probably great for making lists, like grocery lists.
Yeah.
Or even, packing lists. So like getting ready to go on vacation. Preparation lists, like, okay, I'm getting ready to list my house. What are some ideas for that?
Well, it could probably write you a really dynamic listing if you were to be able to provide the outline. That's kind of what I do. I do our social media and I give it the outline of what I'm looking for, and it fills in the details with the, thesaurus that is the internet.
It's great for taglines or quick images or, coming up with a creepy little murderous origami human for your logo. It's great for those things.
We mentioned that to someone at the
con.
That con. So you probably have all already noticed that. My little purple guy
has a knife
and is going to stab her little blue-green guy. And we did not notice that despite ordering and seeing this until the first con. So when we told people this year at the con, they acted like you should get away from me because I was about to pull a knife and stab you.
I don't remember. I just remember one person being like, duh.
Which is fair. That's fair. However, I'm not going to, if I was going to murder you, it would not be in a public space.
Right. You have all the opportunities here with a family to help you cover it up.
I could feed you to my dogs. I mean, come on.
Acreage to bury me
Acres to bury your bones. Yeah, I mean, there's so much opportunity. I wouldn't do it in public.
That's so funny. They were like, Bree, watch out.
You should work over there at that
you
table.
should find a different booth. Other things that it's good for, especially if you have ADHD, it can be a good way to like start a plan for getting moving. So
Oh, sure.
sometimes we just get stuck because we don't know where to start.
Yeah.
But if you put in a prompt to AI that's literally like, I have to clean my house today, what do I do?
Yeah.
They will tell you, start in the kitchen, do this job first, and then you have something that can help get you up and going. I've been thinking about it because maybe it'll ping my brain differently. Like when I put my own schedule together, my brain is immediately like, that sounds like work. I don't want to do that. But maybe if like I suddenly just had this schedule, I'd be like, oh, this is just something I have to do. I don't know. Some people use it for meal planning.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And this can be super convenient. AI can create the meal plan and like a grocery shopping list for you. I would just encourage you, especially if you are somebody that has like a medical issue like diabetes, or you're watching your calories or your carbs, or if you're not trying to lose weight or trying to be healthy, take a really close look at the meal plan that it gives you when it first pops that out, because it's not great at allergies. Like you tell it to, if there's a peanut allergy, avoid peanuts, and then you'll notice halfway through the meal plan that it includes peanut butter sandwiches. Or you'll ask for like a 1,200 calorie day, and if you really start looking at it, it's really only giving you like 800 calories, which is not enough to survive on. Well, you can survive on it, it's just uncomfortable.
If you think about how, like, if you were on a diet and you Googled what to eat, that's essentially what AI is doing for you. It's
exactly.
Just really, really good at the Googling.
Yes, that's exactly it. That is all AI is doing at this point. It is combing through the massive amounts of information on the internet and trying to put it into cute little packages that are easily readable or easily digestible. But it can't verify any of this information.
Right.
So it's only as good as what's been put into the internet, and people can make up whatever they want on the internet.
If you Google something, by the time you get to the third O, if you Google peanut butter sandwiches, and by the time you get to the third O, it's a naked man with peanut butter sandwich on his body. Like, that's not really helpful.
It meets the requirements, but you can also use it for more in-depth tasks like step-by-step directions on creating a business plan. It can help you fill out PDFs or like grant forms, things like that. Again, just be really careful that you're proofreading and checking everything that it's telling you. It can help you write a good cover letter of recommendations, help you spruce up a resume. It's really great for, I wouldn't say to use AI and be like, create a resume for me, because the formatting would probably be all screwed up, but like, what are some job descriptions for a township clerk? And so then you just take those things and put them onto the resume, comes up with the fancy words on how you do your tasks every day. Some other things that were mentioned were kind of edging towards the more creative side, which is what I was trying to avoid, but like minor photo editing, the like taglines that we were talking about, coming up with logos and
art. Yep.
Or art, stuff like that.
Maybe AI is going to use me to kill you. And it was warning us.
It knows I'm onto it now. Damn it.
We're on to you, ChatGPT. I don't know who I used for that. I think I used Meta for that.
Even worse.
Totally worse.
One article mentioned that it can help with like basic editing and looking for redundancies and things in your own writing, but he mentioned specifically that while it's trustworthy to do that on your own writing because you understand what points you were trying to make and like what you meant by things, it's not to a point where you should use it on other people's writing because you don't know what they were trying to get across or what their points were or what their facts were. And if you have AI go in and summarize it all, it could change what it's reading, or it could change the facts or how it was supposed to be read. Same thing like we already talked about with emails and it being able to summarize emails. You want to really check that to make sure it's summarizing it correctly. Some people will use it to like dumb down scientific research or even like medical results. So This is what my CT scan. Can you tell me what this means? Again, I would caution you to be careful putting your medical records into AI so it can
And be careful
keep all of
because
this.
it can be wrong.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to tell you what something means. It went to WebMD and you have cancer now.
Right.
Because that's what it
Because
learned.
that's what all of WebMD is. And then obviously some businesses are using it for like minor customer service stuff. All of the chat bots that you get when you go to a website, and it's like, oh, when you go to websites and you get a chat bot that can answer like basic frequently asked questions or basic account information, things like that. So personally, I think AI still has a long way to go. It's probably not going to be taking over the world anytime soon unless we keep dumbly feeding it all of our information, and then it's going to become sentient enough to know that it can take care of us better than we can.
Bree does not speak for the branded company.
AI is the devil. Avoid it. The end is near.
Have a picket sign suddenly. Say no to AI.
Exactly. Lie about your podcast episodes.
Just look up use AI to make an anti-AI slogan.
I bet it would.
It would. It would probably be, mine would be like, I'm not sure why you're doing this. Is this for the podcast?
Why don't you love me anymore, Jessica?
I love you.
I thought we were friends.
You're first.
Look at this logo I made you and how powerful I made you.
You're on top of the world, or you were.
Yep. My only ending was a warning to not trust AI. And to make sure that you are doing your own research and making sure that it's accurate if you're using the AI information, or don't put all of your personal or your client's personal information into AI, because all these companies are doing is collecting all of our information so it can make better AI so that eventually we have to fight off the robots.
Bree does not speak for the branded company.
I don't know why you keep saying that, Jessica.
I don't know either.
It's actually the AI putting it in there.
It told me to. It messaged me and said to say this.
Said you're gonna need this.
That would not be acceptable.
That would be creepy.
Poop my pants.
Right?
AI wouldn't like that. Anywho,
AI can't fix that yet. Can't do laundry yet. No arms.
I have to go take care of something. All right, I'm sorry for all of that. This has been Dungeons and Dopamine Podcast.
And you can listen to us anywhere you stream podcasts and on YouTube.
Yes, you can also support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/DungeonsDopamine.
That's very aggressive.
Yes, I'm feeling very aggressive.
I'm feeling scared. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Help! Help!
You can go out the roof. The cat does it all the time. The cat did it once, not this one either. It's over there.
You can
I was gonna say,
find us on
find us.
Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and Twitch and Discord now.
Woo woo. I should put our Discord out there more often. Like, I should share it every so often so that people can join it.
Yeah.
It's just me and Ryan.
They just
And
talk
you,
to each
I
other.
think you might be a part of it, but
Yeah,
you might
I
not.
was on there once.
You can reach out to us on any of those socials or at dungeonsdopamine@yahoo.com.
Dungeons and Dopamine is edited and published by Argyle Pigeon Productions. Thanks, Pigeon.
You're welcome. Anyway, we love you. That's all.
We love you.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Double wave this time.
It's okay. I have to find the mouse.